Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It is Murph, and it's Sam Crow, and it is Friday nights with the AMA. We are 7.8 miles, Sam. 7.8 miles down 16th Street / Crawfordsville Road at Indianapolis Raceway Park, just past Claremont, Indiana. Some would say about halfway between Indianapolis and Brownsburg. But we are at the second of these two racetracks in Indianapolis that are really within 8 miles of one another. They even share the same interstate exit. How about that, Sam?
Who actually counts mileage down to the 10th, Mark? Who does that?
7.8. Google Earth is your friend. I thought it was closer than that until I looked it up. It's 7.8 miles, and so when you come to Indianapolis and you get off on 16th Street at Crawfordsville Road, 16th Street, you turn. If you're coming from the south, the south or the north, you're going to go east, and you'll hit the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You go about the same distance west, and you're going to hit Indianapolis Raceway Park. Now sponsored by Lucas Oil. IRP is a multi-dimensional facility. You see the oval in front of you. The oval here measures at 0.686 miles. It's been around since 1960. There is a road course on the property, and you can't really see it very well, but there is a road course on the property. There is also, and probably its most famous use, right behind this main grandstand, Sam. That's where they have the U.S. Nationals, the biggest drag race in all the land, is right behind that main grandstand, and that is a very, very, very fast strip.
Yes, sir.
The road course here uses part of the drag strip. It is not integrated with the oval, and it has its own very unique history. The track itself was founded in 1958 by Indianapolis businessmen. Among them, Tom Benford, who many of you may know as the chief steward for the United States Auto Club for many, many years, up until the handover to the Indy Racing League in 1996. Roger Ward, the race driver, was an investor here. The original intention, Sam, was to build a road course. That kind of fell against hard economic times, and so they basically built a drag strip along the road course. And then they started having the U.S. Nationals here first. A year later, they built the oval. NASCAR, to tie that in a bun, has a pretty long history at this facility. Most of NASCAR's history, Sam, in Indianapolis isn't at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's right here. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you knew that, right?
Actually, I did.
Yeah, so this track held...
That's a little bit of information that I did have on my mind.
Yeah, so the now Xfinity Series, back then, Sam, we'll remember it as the Busch Grand National Series, or the Budweiser Grand National Series, or the Budweiser Late Model Sportsman Series, if you really want to go back that far. They began racing here in 1982. The race last known as the Kroger 200, and it was here at IRP until 2011. The trucks also raced here for many, many years until they went to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and now they are no longer present at the facility at all. A lot of race fans, Sam, would much rather the two junior level series come here than go to the big
race
track.
Here.
Yeah,
absolutely. The racing here in those two lower tiers was phenomenally better than what you see at the big track.
You know, and this track also famous for track is also famous for its night before events. And so on Memorial Day weekend, Saturday night, you can come out to IRP and you can see sprints, midgets, USF 2000 cars race on the oval. They have a night before the Brickyard 400 race. There's a truck race here that night. There was a truck race here occasionally on that night. They used to have midget races here the night before Formula One Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that was a sight, Sam. I came to a couple of those. You want to see something funny? Get a bunch of Englishmen drinking too much beer, come out to a midget race on a 0.6 of a mile oval the night before a Grand Prix. That was a ton of fun.
I'm sure.
We had an enjoyable time with our friends across the pond, introducing them to the proper way that cars race in Indiana. This track also, I mentioned the road course. It held USAC stock car races, mainly the Yankee 300 as it was called. Mario Andretti won here in what was called the Hoosier Grand Prix. They also raced Indy cars on the road course. Never the oval, always the road course, Sam. But that's something to note. This track also made an appearance in a Paul Newman movie. How about that? Did you know that, Sam?
No. What movie would that have been?
Okay, so 1969, Paul Newman came out with the movie Winning, which was about the Indianapolis 500. But one of the things that they do is Paul Newman's character, I believe his name was Frank Capua. I just looked it up. Frank Capua competes in a USAC stock car race here on the road course. And so this track is in the movie Winning, which is about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That movie also has some great footage of the now demolished Speedway Motel, if you ever wanted to see what that looked like. That's a great resource. If you want to see 1960s Indianapolis, go watch the Paul Newman movie Winning.
I've seen a lot of his movies. He's probably one of my favorite actors, but
never that one.
Steve McQueen, but I've never seen that movie.
Go get it. It's. I'm gonna give the movie a B minus. But it's like the movie Grand Prix. It's not a very good story, but the race car footage and the nostalgia behind those scenes.
The cinematography is probably really good.
Right. So the cinematography.
Newman was always a stickler for good cinematography.
Well, and they used real cars from the race that year, and so the winning car in that the car in that movie is Bobby Unser's Rislone Eagle that won the race that year. And he wears Bobby Unser's colors. The Xfinity Series, now Xfinity Series, did move to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway 7.8 miles to the east in 2012, and as a result, ARCA is now the only national touring series to race here, but the trucks did come back.
The ARCA cars actually put on a great show. The race that they had here this past weekend was actually good.
They do. I had the opportunity to drive an ARCA car at this track once. It is a blast. I wish I would have had new Hoosiers for that run. Other than that, it's a ton of fun. Did not race the car, just had a chance to practice one. Very awesome. Very awesome experience. I wish I'd have paid the $7,500 for a new set of tires though. The ones that I had were well beyond their best. How about that, Sam?
Well, I will accept that as an analogy.
And I don't think I did them any good either. But yeah, so that's kind of Indianapolis Raceway Park in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and get the practice times up, Sam. Ryan O'Donoghue might have a shot at a good night tonight. He is not fastest in practice right now. That honor belongs to Chad Dulabon. So Ryan O'Donoghue.
Well, we've had a few weeks off, but it hasn't changed the ability or lightened up the fire under some of these drivers as far as their speeds are concerned. Ryan is still up at the top. Chad Dulabon is at the top. Jared Duda, who is a winner here in the AME Industrial or Archway Industrial Series, he's a winner. Kendall Paul, again, cream rises to the top, and we're seeing the same of that tonight, even in practice.
Yeah, we are. Chad Dulabon is your early leader. Do want to point out that this series has been off for a month, Sam, and so look for some rust among the guys who do not compete in the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, which has been running. The Premier League, the Truck League, has been off for a while, and so there's going to be some rust. I'll tell you who's not rusty though, Sam. That's the fans. We've already got a nice sized group tuned in to watch here. The Stupid Rusky, hello to you. We are definitely ready. Pats fan 12873. Let's go, Liam. We will ride on board Liam Anderson when he goes to make his qualifying run. I will do that, Sam.
Well, I don't know who you're going to ride with, but I tell you, whoever you do ride with is going to have a handful of truck tonight, because our track temperature is really pushing it up there, and it's going to be challenging for these guys. I watched a lot of practice, and it was definitely something for these drivers to attempt to make laps consistently without losing the back of the truck. So I'm wondering if qualifying will be the same way, that these guys, it may affect their qualifying times just to turn a good lap without spinning.
Yeah, and glad to hear it. Liam Anderson Motorsports chimes in and says there's no rust here. Their boys are ready. It is hot though, 82 degrees on the track, or 82 degrees in the air, 111 on the track. And I do want to point out, I did run in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series race here last year, Sam. It is very difficult to keep the tires under you here. It is also very difficult as we just wait for Tad Dulabon to make his run out. We've got the Liam Anderson fans in the chat, so we'll go ahead and sit on board. There's Billy Elwell. It is very difficult to keep tires under you here. Depending on how you run it, you're going to burn off the right front or the right rear, and there's not really much you can do about it, Sam.
No, this track is quite weather beaten on the racing surface, and this asphalt is hungry, and its favorite meal is definitely Goodyear Eagles or Hoosiers, whatever the cars are going to be
Avons,
running,
what Coopers, whatever you've got
it doesn't
on them.
matter.
Yeah.
Whatever these cars have on them, this track will eat it, and you're exactly right. This track is. I know that we were talking about fast laps in practice, but I assure you, fast laps are not going to be what wins this race tonight. It's going to be consistency and tire conservation and throttle control. Those will be the three most important things that these drivers can do to make sure that they have a good finish tonight.
I've got another one for you, Sam, and it's going to be don't hit the wall. Matty Wags, and just on cue, Matt Wagner said this track is hungry for Wagner hitting the wall. I think that's every track, Matty. And so Billy Elwell has made his qualifying run. Let's juxtapose that.
Well, if there was ever a track that would tease you to run the top line, this is the track. This is the track that just beckons you to run that high line, and then when you get up to that high line, you're in such jeopardy, especially as the run goes on, that the magnet will just pull you into it. It's almost like a siren out in the sea. It just beckons for a driver to go to that top line, and the higher you go, the faster you feel like you're going, and then that wall just grabs you.
Not only that, but that is an absolutely great way to burn the tires right off. That right rear will go quickly. Yeah, and then you can't turn it, so you turn it too much, so you start compensating, and then pretty soon you have absolutely no grip. Chad Dulabon finishes his lap. That was the provisional pole right there for Chad Dulabon. Interestingly enough, we do not have, Sam, with a minute left, anybody else headed for the speedway. Matt Wagner has advised that he did hit the fence on his opening lap, and
I did see that.
Jalen
any contact with the wall will disqualify your lap time in qualifying.
Yes, it will. I'm surprised it accepted Billy Elwell's time, because Billy did get up there and slap it pretty good on his second lap. On his first lap, though, I believe that he was okay. Jalen Story, Justin Osterman, Liam Anderson, Jeremy Dunwoody, Barry Seaman, Matt Wagner, and Wags. Wags might be. No, he's just. There he is. He's very slowly at 4 miles an hour crawling toward the
I
end.
think he's messing with you at this point.
Wagner mess with me? That's never happened.
Oh, absolutely. Look at that. Look what blistering speed he has just shown. He just turned a 4-minute lap so that he could move up a few positions in qualifying.
3 minutes, 352.419 is the official time for Matt Wagner. That is a average speed, and we're going to read that out, Sam. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about Matty Wagner and his qualifying speed because it is that time to go through the grid for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series.
What a great field for this track. This is a great field.
Yes, it is. On the pole, Chad Dulabon with a lap at 109.003 miles an hour. Jarrett Duda, he'll be to the outside. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to go on from the inside of row 2, and he's going to have the narc brain Logan Edwards in the number 49 to his outside. In 5th, Chuck Sweeting. He'll be joined by James Hodgson in the forward-facing 88 from 6th. Kendale Paul, he'll qualify 7th in the Archway Industrial Coatings machine. He'll have John Hutchins to his outside in 8th. Row 5 is going to be Tyler Barnes on the inside in the 0-1. Tony the Tiger. That looks like the old Miss Madison race boat. Sam. A little Tony the Tiger action.
A little lake racing.
More like oceans and rivers. Jim Duda is going to go from 10th. In 11th, David Dunwoody. 12th is going to be Matt Sizzler. He had a great run yesterday at Indianapolis in that 3
He sure
birdies
did.
car.
What a great comeback to finish 3rd, yes.
Yes, he did. Keith Graham is going to go from 13th. Billy Elwell will be 14th. Mason Muller, he'll be 15th. Owen Simkovich will go from 16th. Matt Wagner in the aforementioned number 17 hot lap. Sam, you ready? 10.427 miles an hour earns Matt Wagner 17th position. 10 miles an hour. Mike Rigney should penalize him.
I want the fans to know that is faster than idle speed. I'm just letting everyone know.
They should put him in the back for being a wise aleck. Jacob Wilson will go from 18th. None of these trucks set time. Jacob Wilson will be 18th. Osterman 19th. Jeremy Dunwoody is 20th. Leonard Anderson, Jalen Story will go 21st and 22nd. Barry Seaman not only has an end of the longest line penalty in the 55, but he also has a drive-through to start this race. The black flag has already been displayed for the Aflac Duck. And that's
not the way you want to start this particular race, but I will say that the key to a good race tonight is really going to be based on the start of this race. These drivers really need to mind their P's and Q's when they go into that first turn and going through that first lap, because again, when things happen here, it happens very quickly. It is not a self-cleaning track, and trucks will block the race path very quickly, and you have nowhere to go. So it's, Barry may, with his black flag serving that, may be able to avoid anything that happens on that first lap or so.
Yeah, there you go. Mike Rigney, the ISRA king, checking in. That's it, Wags. You're getting an EOL for Monday for lack of effort. I like it. Send the message. Send the message, Mike. Speaking of messages, Barney's got the green flag in his hand, and we are...
Let's go racing. Buckle up. Let's go.
Yeah, 200 laps here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Green flag is in the air. The Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series resumes here on P1.
Let's see the different lines that these drivers are going to be taking, even right here. Some drivers will be very conservative and go to the bottom and just kind of want to set their own pace at the bottom of the racetrack. I think the front runners will want to go ahead and get as much distance as they can from the very beginning. Yeah, people are settling in really good here. We can,
caution.
As soon as I say it, a caution's out on the
racetrack.
That
is a huge accident.
A big pile up in turn 1.
That is a massive accident, and I think it started with with David Dunwoody here.
Yes, I'm riding with him as well. He's all no, actually the 85 ahead of him, Owen Stimkovich, actually lost the back of the truck coming off of turn 4, and that caused a big checkup behind him, and they all just began an accordion effect, and there's a little arca braking going on back there, but nonetheless, I believe that was where the incident really had its start, was with the 85 truck.
Well, I think he might have saved it. Dunwoody gets in the back of Simkovich, and then the number seven truck, which is different than what we have.
That's
gets
actually
in
Mason.
Mason.
He's the truck number 74 scored as, but he's showing a 7 on the truck tonight. So Mason Malure is actually the number 74.
Both Liam Anderson trucks involved. Hard impact for Matt Wagner. A lot of bent sheet metal here. Liam Anderson does have the meatball, and that baby is toast for Liam Anderson. You're right, the black flag,
and
mate.
I think a lot of that is just simply because he was one of the trucks that suffered the hardest front end damage. He T-bones the Dunwoody, and then it shoots his truck straight into the outside retaining wall head first. And so that's probably why he sustained the meatball flag. Is there's probably engine damage involved there.
Yeah, that was a really hard lick for Liam Anderson. Thankfully, we're dealing with pixels and not real impacts, because that would have absolutely
It'd have jarred
hurt.
someone's teeth for sure.
Yeah, you'd have needed some new fillings. Barry Seaman is going to get back onto the racing surface. There you see him. No damage for Seaman. And so that's good news. Justin Osterman and Keith Graham both lost laps underneath that caution. That's the 53 of Justin Osterman. He's, I believe, they're gonna score him on the tail end, Sam.
I'm trying to listen to in race chat. He was actually given an EOL. Liam Anderson was also given an EOL.
Well, I think it's a moot point for Anderson now. That car is
yeah.
Now they're gonna waive Osterman, so he'll get to the back of one lap down, or he'll get to the back.
That could have very well been an attempt to keep drivers from getting unafforded black flags for passing under yellow or something like that.
You know, it very well could have been, Sam. We're on the rear bumper of the pace truck, looking at the assembled crowd. That's Liam Anderson's car enjoying a fire in its pit box, and so that's the smoke you see across the screen. The drivers can see that, but they also see Barney holding the green flag. It is out, and racing is about to resume here at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
All right, let's see if we can just get things together again. I knew that the truck would be a bit loose. It is getting later in the afternoon, and as we get a little later, there may be more grip. The track temp is right now. It's very raceable, so I'm thinking that these guys should be able to find grip and get it quickly.
Yeah, that's one of the things that this truck does here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, Indianapolis Raceway Park, as it were. It starts out pretty loose, but as you go along in the run, it does tend to tighten up. Yeah, it does tend to tighten up, especially if you're running the lower groove. So if you're running and the lower groove here is not the bottom. This track does have some progressive banking to it. There is and we'll get back to that. Matt Sisler working on John Hutchins. Tyler Barnes is in there. Matt Sisler, Jim Duda.
Just a kiss.
Oh, there'll be a lot of flat right sides out here by the time this is over, Sam, for certain sure.
It'll be hard to. Oh! Matt Sisler is in the bee's nest. Tyler Barnes just about loses it off of 4, and that check truck's up behind him. But they're racing really hard back here from 8th position on back.
Yeah. So Sam, you were curious about the Tony the Tiger Miss Madison reference, right? You said lake racing.
I remember many of the Terry Labonte schemes and things like that back in the day, but it just whenever you return to the missed something, it just reminded me of the old lake racers. They always named their boats after women, or they would call it mist. So yeah, that's where that came comment came from.
So it's another. It's semi-related to this. It is another Indiana motorsport reference. The Miss Madison is a community-owned unlimited hydroplane. Madison is.
So I wasn't too far off.
Yeah, Miss Madison or Madison, Indiana is across the river and just a bit to the west of Louisville, Kentucky. And there is an unlimited hydroplane regatta. Matt Sizzler smacks the wall. Not
Sure
anything
did.
bad. Not anything bad. Just a kiss.
Those are just kisses. Those are just kisses.
Just kisses, Sam. We continue to watch that battle. We're going to flop back a little bit to Jim Duda in the 03. He's working on the 72 of John Hutchins, and he's got Billy Elwell in. They've got Billy Elwell in hot pursuit, and we'll get on board the CHEP machine of Billy Elwell. Duda is going to make the pass on Hutchins. Maybe he's going to slide up and will complete.
Ooh, he took all the real estate right there on that slide job. So
yes, he did. But it is effective.
really, a lot of times that's how you have to make a pass here in order, especially if you're having to use the low line. You just have to make sure that you get that all clear signal from the spotter.
You do indeed. Welcome to Carrie Elwell. She has joined us, cheering on Billy.
We really will probably start seeing a difference in how these drivers are faring with their tire wear somewhere around lap 20 to 25, and then you'll begin to see some drivers whether or not that they're saving or whether or not they're going to be able to just move forward. It usually takes about 20 to 25 laps for those things to start materializing, but the field is starting to just kind of stretch out a little bit and get into their groove, because IRP is famous for it's a rhythm track, and so a lot of drivers will just get into a rhythm here and just race their race to save tires.
Maybe that's my problem. I burned off the tires, Sam, because I didn't get in a rhythm.
I've always felt like that this was a rhythm track.
It very much is.
And the other thing that can hurt people here at this racetrack is too much brake, using way too much brake, and that increases tire wear as well.
Yes, it does. Taking a look at the leaders, Chad Dulabon does have it. He's pulling away ever so slightly from Jared Duda, and that is the 52. In third place, you've got Ryan O'Donohue running along in the 14. He is third fairly comfortably, almost a full second ahead of the old narc brain. That's Logan Edwards. Talk about a duck out of water, known as a road course specialist, runs Indy cars. He's come over here to run this series. He's won a ton of road races, Sam. There's a huge difference between an Indy car on a big oval. He was in the Chicagoland IndyCar race earlier this week to come here. That's a pretty big switch. So Logan Edwards giving a fine accounting of himself in fourth, and then Chuck Sweeting in the number 75, the chrome and black, as it were, is running along in fifth. Do want to give a shout out to Lauren Elwell, Catherine Beverly, and the Stupid Ruski. Arca Brakes, he says Arca Brakes got him. It wasn't his fault. That'll happen. It's okay. Matty Wagner is on the bottom. He is going a lap down. That truck severely damaged earlier. Run back through the top 10.
He's certainly working at a deficit tonight. He probably had extensive damage. It's hard to get damage fixed here because the laps, even the pace laps, just go so quickly.
Yeah, there it is. He's going to
now that he's a lap down, he's going to come in and get some repairs. Or let's see what Wagner does here.
Well, we're gonna find it out. There's the number 17, and it is limping down the pit lane. The 44 machine of Jalen Story has also hit pit lane right behind Liam Anderson there. Matty Wagner is going to slide to a stop. He hasn't ejected yet. He may stay and stick this out. This race tends to be within history of AMA very attritional. And there's Billy Elwell. He's got himself a piece of the wall again, just coming off the corners. And ladies, that's nothing to be worried about. That is a little kiss here is not necessarily.
It's not the end of your night.
No,
you can do it multiple times. You can do it throughout the event.
You can. I mean, I followed.
As long as the incident points the incident points do not begin to start adding up. I mean, if you keep hitting it and get a two, then after a while the damage just starts to become more relative. Or if that kiss is not square and you catch that right front in just the right way, you can get wheel damage very quickly.
You can, but as long as you get it square and you just kind of slap it a little bit, it's just a little Darlington stripe. Looking at Billy Elwell, who
Yeah, I
has
never liked racing up there. I never did.
watching Billy Elwell, he has a plethora, a tribe of fans in the chat, and so we'll show your man Billy Elwell runs along in 12th. He's about 9 seconds off the lead. We are going to have a stage break here very shortly. Unfortunately for that Liam Anderson Motorsport Group, Jalen Story and Liam Anderson both involved in heavy contact early. Liam blown engine out of the race. Jalen Story is back on the racetrack. Well, actually, he's not. I thought he had gone back out. He is.
No, he was still on. Yeah,
he's still on further repair. So Jalen Story is scored 21st. So Billy Elwell has been left to carry the banner for that 3-truck trio. Looking back a little bit further, you got Kendall Paul running around. So there's Tyler Barnes in the zero.
Speaking of, you were talking about Logan Edwards earlier. Logan has proved that he knows how to run these road courses, but he also has proved that he is very good at saving tires. And he did so well at some of those road courses in doing that. IRP is a good track to try and do that very thing, is save tires over the long run and allow yourself to make up distance on the back end of a stage. And Logan Edwards has got that kind of talent.
Yes, he does. He's started to incrementally reel back in those front runners to finish the story off about the boat with the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger scheme. You go to Madison, Indiana. The city actually owns a race boat, and so they have a race there called the Indiana Governor's Cup, which after the races at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the largest sporting event. One of the largest sporting event in the state of Indiana, and it's traditional for the governor to go down there. They usually have that race right around the 4th of July weekend, and it's traditional for the governor to go down there and present the trophy to the winner of the boat race. Yeah.
What lake is it that they race at?
It's not a lake. They race it on the Ohio River.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's they race it on the Ohio River. But for many years, the Miss Madison hydroplane was sponsored by Kellogg's. Tony the Tiger was the scheme on that, and that was before they were involved in NASCAR. That was like in the early 90s, 91, 92, that happened. And so that's been a good long while. The other bit of trivia about that boat, not only was it community owned for Madison, Indiana, it also was the first unlimited hydroplane to win a boat race from the an unlimited race from the trailer position. So Sam, what they do in those races is they would run them 5 or 6 wide on the front line, and then you could if you won the consolation heat, you could start in the trailer, which is you had to start on the far outside, 15 boat lengths behind your competitors, and Mike Hansen managed to win an unlimited race in San Diego from the trailer. The only boat ever to do so. So now you've gained some knowledge about boat racing, and Ryan O'Donohue has gained some knowledge of lap traffic. He's gotten by Jeremy Dunwoody. Matt Sizzler went blank on my timing screen. I thought he was going to disconnect, and that would have been heartbreak for the number 35 Three Birdies Toyota. But there's Matt Sizzler running along in 9th. Again, Tyler Barnes just ahead of him in 8th. The leader is Chad Dulabon, but the fast man right now is this guy. It's the narc brain, Logan Edwards, and we'll jump on board in the passenger seat and look out the front of Logan's number 49. Do want to thank Go ahead, Sam.
I'm sorry. No, I was just listening to some in-race chat. There's been some discussion back and forth about some drivers that are having a little difficulty with their connections. I was going to say that in this particular instance, if we're going to be catching lap traffic this soon, it can really have a big impact on the race later, especially in a longer stage. It can really make a difference about how you handle traffic and how these lap markers will will work with you or not work with you, because you can close ground so incredibly fast here, or you can lose time equally as fast. Here, Ryan O'Donoghue, Chad Dulabon's built himself a second lead, but he's able to navigate a little bit through the traffic, and by the time the second and third place cars get there, they're having to pick lines that they have to navigate around these cars as well. But
they do.
At the time, Ryan O'Donoghue was closing, and so now he's lost that advantage that he had closed in on.
He had, and Logan Edwards was closing in on Ryan O'Donoghue. He just had some, he was having some trouble with a lap machine just now.
Right.
The Liam Anderson brigade has they now, with the demise of Liam, Jalen Story still parked on pit lane under repair. So we're discussing tubing. I don't think you'd want a tube behind an unlimited hydroplane. Those things go 200 miles an hour. And they put out a 10-story tall rooster tail behind them. Those boats are wild, Sam. If you ever go watch them, they float on a cushion of air between the boat and between the hull and the water, such that only the prop is in the water. And it is a sight to behold, of course. When they get out of shape, it's usually pretty big because the boat itself is, it's an upside-down airplane wing. And when it gets bent out of shape, upside-down airplane wings tend to do what? They fly. They fly. And those boats, when they get airborne, they don't know that they're not an airplane. And so it can be very spectacular. Looking at Ryan O'Donoghue, he is third. There's Jared Duda in second. The man of the hour, that's Chad Dulabon. Lap 43, the Jack Daniels number 98 has the lead. Just to let you know, Matt Wagner has not pulled his truck back out onto the pit lane. He still sits in 20th. David Dunwoody has disconnected.
He's taking it to the garage area. He's done for the evening.
He's taking it to the
David
garage.
had a great run. He had a great run last night at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He led some laps. He ran up front. So David really had a good night last night. I hate that couldn't translate into a good night tonight as well.
Yeah, well, to be fair, there are not too many places that are more disparate than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. They are very, very different as we watch Chad Dulabon. And he's catching some pretty decent trucks. That's Jacob Wilson and Mason Muller ahead of him. And then just ahead of these two is the number 12 of Billy Elwell. The one thing that we're not clear on is there are stages in this race. It's just a matter of when those stages are. I would imagine they're probably coming at 50 and 100, Sam, would be my guess.
Agreed. I agree.
And so that might be the saving grace for Elwell, Muller, and Wilson is that we're approaching a stage. There's Chad Dulabon, and he may just be content to ride behind these trucks. We'll get in the gyro and just kind of show you this track is pretty flat, Sam. There is some banking to it, but not a whole lot. Liam Anderson.
We won't have to worry about fuel or tires here tonight. Outside of the tires during the run.
Yeah,
the drivers will have tires to change, and they'll be adequate enough. And the only reason we would even bring tires up is that if drivers overuse or abuse their tires during the stages themselves.
Liam Anderson wants to know, Sam, what comes first, the peanut butter or the jelly? As we ride along with Chad Dulabon, that's a debate that we need to have, Sam. What do you put on the sandwich first, the peanut butter or the jelly?
Well, I'm Southern, so we actually take the jelly and put it with the peanut butter and mix it, then we put it on the bread.
I can't abide by that. It's jelly first, clean the knife, and then peanut butter. Jelly first on the sandwich.
No, we actually put it together and mix it together, and then put it on the bread.
Yeah, Liam says he's team jelly. I'm gonna have to ask another one then, Sam. Is it grape, strawberry, peach, or blackberry jelly?
Now that is really the biggest debate among peanut butter and jelly connoisseurs is what jelly do you put on there? It traditionally it is either grape or strawberry. So, and I can't believe we're actually talking about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches during an IRP race in the AMA.
Well, I tell you what, you got to go. You got to go where the crowd is. The debate rages. Liam is team strawberry. Lauren Elwell says that she's with you, Sam. Mix the jelly and the peanut butter together.
That's the way to go.
I'm gonna go blackberry jelly. I love blackberry jelly. Love it. Strawberry jelly is a close second. My grandmother had a blackberry patch in her backyard. We used to get blackberry jellies and jams and cobblers and all sorts of blackberry stuff all the time. Love that stuff. I'd give my left arm for a piece of my grandma Choo Choo's blackberry cobbler sometimes, because that stuff is delicious. Chad Dulabon has the lead. He is.
And he's blistering this racetrack. He's already lapped up to his next victim will be the 11th place truck of Tyler Barnes once he gets there, but he's already lapped the 12th place truck of Billy Elwell. So it's really going to open up a big fight for the lucky dog.
It is, and look,
it really is.
And look, I mean, Elwell and Billy Elwell, Jacob Wilson, Mason Moore, they're not light footing around here. Those trucks have been competitive, and you look at Jared Duda running second. It wasn't like it was automatic for him to get past those trucks, and they're not running uncompetitive lap times. Chad Dulabon is just absolutely
he's
knifing. To use the peanut butter and jelly, continue that. He's knifing through the field, Sam. Knifing. So that brings up
he's going to be in for it once he catches I don't know that he's a good 8 or 9 seconds behind that pack, but if he were to catch that next pack, there are actually 4 trucks that are battling that out intensively from 8th to 11th.
Yeah,
ahead of him, and those trucks are nose to tail.
Yeah, 9th, 10th, and 11th. It's Matt Sisler, John Hutchins, and Tyler Barnes, and Tyler Barnes has fallen away from Sisler and Hutchins. Sisler, Hutchins, and Jim Duda, just about the best battle on the racetrack. And then you go back to Tyler Barnes. He's the last truck on the lead lap. Of course, he's got trouble in the form of Keith Graham, who is 2 laps down, and Matt Wagner. Wagner has rejoined the fray 23 laps in arrears. And who says, Mike Rigney, that there's no effort out of the 17th? We have shamed him into bringing that broken truck back out on the speedway, and he's decided to have himself some fun. He'll go around Keith Graham, and next up on Wagner's personal hit parade is going to be the number 01 of Tyler Barnes.
All right, the pits have been closed, and so our question about the stage looks like it's going to be lap 60.
120?
Probably lap 120, and so the pits are closed, and there will be no strategy, so to speak, of drivers that wanted to pit early. They would have lost laps.
Sam, we need to keep our eye. It's not on this battle for the stage. It's the battle right here. Billy Elwell and Jacob Wilson are locked in a tight duel for that lucky dog spot. Right now, Billy Elwell has it. Jacob Wilson definitely wants it.
And he wants it. The caution could come out any second now.
All right, man, caution.
And there it is. And Wilson just got on the inside of Elwell, and Elwell will hold on.
Yes, he will.
Lucky dog.
I mean, we'll continue the debate about sandwiches, Sam, because this is a good one. We have equal numbers of men and women in the chat. We have food connoisseurs like Mike Rigney available to referee or clarify any points that need to be made. I myself am the shaggy do of sandwiches. I enjoy all of the sandwiches. Billy Elwell didn't realize that he wasn't going to be able to pit this time and goes through the grass. So Billy Elwell. Everybody else, Sam, has brought their trucks to pit lane for some well-needed service.
Well-needed service as well. Oh, hold on one second. Billy Elwell was the lucky dog, but he just got his left side tires off the race course.
Oh, so you're thinking
Any incident point can nullify that.
Well, but here's the thing. One, we do have
He
live.
probably had already taken the caution.
Yeah, he'd already taken the caution. He'd already taken
give him the benefit.
Yeah, not only that, but there's live stewarding here, and they would rectify that. Would be my guess. We're watching the race off of pit road. It's going to be Chad Dulabon retaining his lead over Jared Duda. Ryan O'Donohue second, third. Logan Edwards fourth, Chuck Sweeting fifth. Here is Billy Elwell. He is back on he's on the pit lane, and he's already surrendered that lap. So it may have not given him the lucky dog because he went through the grass, Sam.
That's why I called it. It seems to me that if anything in the caution period where you take an IP or an INC, that it can negate that. Now again, live steward may give him a lap back, or did he stay in long enough that he afforded repairs?
No, it was
and
a
that's
17
what
point.
caused him to lose the lap as well.
It's possible that he
Matt
pitted.
Sisler has lost connection, and now he has left the server.
Yeah,
Matt Sisler was in our top 10.
I think it might have been, Sam, that exact thing. It is not a given if you pit under caution at IRP. It's a 42-second lap under caution. It's 37 seconds down pit road. And if you're at the back like Billy Elwell was, it is
and
not.
He was already so far behind. Yeah.
Yeah, if he was already far, if you're at the tail end of the line, it can be difficult to get four tires and fuel and get back out. So I think he got his lap back and then lost it again in the pit lane, which is possible. And it's a double penalty because it's a double penalty because.
Oh, we're going back to green right now. So he will not get that lap back. He's still a lap now.
Well, it's
Matt
a double.
Sisler gets back into the server, but now he's 3 laps now.
It's a double penalty, Sam, because you take the lucky dog, you got to go tail in Charlie. So not only does he lose the lap, but he loses 5 spots or 4 spots.
Mm-hmm. He sure does. He loses all the benefit that he had raced for.
Yeah, that would have been one of those I might have thought about. Well, you can't really stay out, but it's one of those you come in, you change rights, go back out, come back in, change lefts. I've done that at Bristol to avoid losing laps for sure. Watching.
Oh, and then we've got a spinner in front of Elwell there at 3 and 4.
Oh, hard impact, Jeremy Dunwoody.
It's the 74 of Mason Malure. He actually lost the back end of the truck.
It is indeed. Caution is on the speedway. And
just maybe a little too much rear brake bias right here. And Elwell just misses him. He goes down the track. And the 99 of Jeremy Dunwoody has nowhere to go.
No, he doesn't. And there's the spin. And I'll give Mason Malure credit. He spun that truck for a good 2/3 of a lap before it finally went. Because we were watching it through 1 and 2. That was not a stable machine, and it finally goes away from him. And look at how close Billy Elwell misses this. So there goes Elwell through Malure, and then there's just nowhere for Jeremy Dunwoody to go. Poor Jeremy Dunwoody is a victim of circumstance, and this is how fast it happens right here. We're gonna get to this debate about cheese too, Sam. You're not off the hook.
No, by no means are you off the hook.
No, you're not off the hook at all. You and I will have by the end of the day constructed the P1 the P1 club, and we're gonna make Gary Godso eat it.
Oh heavens!
So
I love how the discussion in the chat it's actually gone so south. They're actually talking about throwing craft singles and sticking it to things.
As long as they're not
lost control.
As long as
control.
Well, I think they're controlling. I think they're controlling us. I will say this though, Sam. I will say this though. You know, sometimes you gotta have some.
Ooh. Look at that impact.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was a ton for poor Jeremy Dunwoody.
It lifted the truck off the ground. That was really heavy front end damage.
Yes, it did. Now, Jacob Wilson gets the benefit of the lucky dog this time, so that's going to move Billy Elwell back to the front of 1 lap down. And, here's the situation.
Well, he's the only truck a lap down now.
Yeah, he's the only truck 1 lap down now. So if he can just hang tough,
and keep it clean,
he'll get the next one, and then he's just going to have to know, like, hey, if I get the lucky dog and everybody pits, I might want to take 2 tires once, come back in and grab the other 2 later.
We're getting ready to go back green, and now we've got a stage, and people have kind of shown their hand a little bit here. It makes you wonder how Rhino Donahue and Jared Duda are going to race this second stage, because they've seen how fast Chad Dulabon is, and so maybe it gives them an opportunity to test this stage and see how hard they can push the truck to keep pace with Dulabon in order not to allow him to get to a 2 and 3 second lead before the end of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, for Jared Duda, if I'm Jared Duda, and we'll jump into the passenger seat of Jared Duda. If I'm Jared Duda, I want to get in front of Chad Dulabon, just so that I can run my own pace and maybe dictate to him for a change. I think that might be the only way that you can, really beat him. We do need to steer this back. So is it yellow cheese or white? Is American cheese yellow or white, Sam? We need to settle that first.
It can actually be both.
I guess that depends. I guess that
can actually be both.
I guess that's a great point. It depends. It's like the Burt Reynolds thing, right, from Smokey and the Bandit. It depends on what part of the United States you're standing in as to how dumb you sound. What color American cheese is might depend on what part of Wisconsin you're standing in.
Well, there's already people that are going. I'm going to get all kinds of hate messages now that I tell people that I mix my peanut butter and jelly before I put it on the bread.
No, you had fans in here. You had fans in here. So I'm gonna say none of the above on the cheese. If we're constructing a P1 club sandwich, if we're constructing the P1 club sandwich and Murph is building, I'm gonna go pepper jack, baby.
Pepper jack or Colby for sure.
Oh no, give me some pepper jack, some roast beef, some ham, throw a little bit of lettuce on that guy, and horseradish mustard.
Oh, you're killing me, Small.
No, Sam. Horseradish mustard is light.
Oh, you got a truck wrecking off of turn 4.
Barry Seaman.
Truck wrecking off of turn 4. Barry Seaman is lost.
No yellow. No yellow.
Oh,
Barry Seaman gets it
no
going.
Caution.
No caution.
He got down on the apron and he spent the entire corner just trying to maneuver the truck and completely sideways in the track and no caution.
Yeah, that's
kudos to him for getting it down to the apron quickly and getting back under power. But wow, no caution. And really a big shout out to the drivers behind him that missed him.
Yep, Matt Sizzler gets a black flag. Sizzler is back on the pit lane, and he has ejected.
And now he's called it a night.
Yeah, he might have been. That might have been a connection-based situation for Matt Sizzler. So he's now out of the race. And how about this? Persistence is going to pay off for Matty Wagner in the points deal. Mike Rigney got after him and said, "Hey, Wags, you need to get going." Gave him some motivation. Wagner, he's out there 22 laps down. He's got 3 trucks ahead of him that have retired, and Barry Seaman's been in the wall over there. And so Wagner might yet be in the top 15 before this is all over. Jalen Story is back, by the way.
And Simkovich is hard in the wall. He's laps down, but I'm telling you, he and Justin Osterman have been having some kind of fight back here.
Well, I wanted to point out, since he has fans in the stands, Jalen Story is back out on the speedway. He is 27 laps down, but remember, there are 3 spots that he can pick up in front of him just by circulating, because
Very
Sizzler,
true.
Jeremy Dunwoody, Mason Muller are all out of the race. And so Jalen Story, just by virtue of circulating, is going to be able to make up at least 3 spots. Same for Wagner. Same for Simkovich, who has finally decided that discretion is the better part of valor, and he'll look out the windshield and see Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, go off into the distance, which might be a great thing for his rear bumper if you really think about it, Sam.
It was quite the persuasion that Justin was working on him. I'm sure he's thinking that he's laps down and he just doesn't want to be held up. But it was a good little battle there for a lap or two.
Speaking of good little battles, you've got Jim Duda here and Kendall Paul. They've been swapping this 7th spot now for 6 or 7 laps. So you're not a fan of the horseradish mustard, Sam? You get a little bit of that?
No, I'm not. No, I've never been a fan. I'm a little peculiar with the condiments that I like on sandwiches and such. I don't eat a lot of sandwiches anymore, unless it's something a little more involved. I don't eat a lot of processed meat anymore.
Man, I tell you what, you wouldn't last 5 minutes at St. Elmo Steakhouse in Indianapolis, Sam. Because once you get here, and Rick D and I get you hauled around to the finer dirt tracks all around this great state, we're going to take you to St. Elmo's and feed you a shrimp cocktail. And if you've got any sort of sinus problems, you won't have them after you eat a shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo's, brother.
I do like spicy food though.
That stuff will absolutely. You remember the scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where they feed Roger whatever it is, and he like goes ballistic and he's steaming off the ceiling? That's about like what eating St. Elmo's shrimp cocktail is. It'll clear you right out. Clear you right out. James Hodgson runs along in 5th. He's got the old narc brain Logan
Really
Edwards
good run
in front
for
of him.
James
Yeah,
tonight. Super good run.
and still
Love the paint scheme on that truck. I just absolutely love that paint scheme.
I do, and he's got the 88 facing forward on the top of that thing, and that's good for him. I don't let him do that on the endurance car, but here he can do whatever he likes, right?
Oh, well, of course he can.
You know, him and Andy Dunwoody, David Dunwoody, they tend to play with me. They'll put the Stroker Race chicken on my car, but they'll usually put it somewhere on the underside so that when I flip upside down, they can see it.
Ah, well, you definitely want to make sure that there's some kind of recognition there for the
Yeah, you do.
the plucked chicken, so to speak.
Yeah, there is a plucked chicken on my Indy car still. It's on the nose. He's more modest than Stroker would let him be, though. The plucked chicken on my car now has the Dallara logo across the front of him, so he's partially covered. Right, we're PG rated here in iRacing, right, Sam?
Well, we better be.
We better be.
If we get copyright infringement for George in the Jungle, you can rest assured. The hammer would fall if we weren't PG.
I'm going to tell you what. We have gone on to insulting coleslaw, Sam, and we're looking at Logan Edwards.
Oh, Lauren, I love my coleslaw. I make an apple cider vinaigrette coleslaw, and that's my favorite that I make. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead.
I love it on hamburgers. I love it on chicken sandwiches. I can eat it straight out of the bowl. But that apple cider vinaigrette is just amazing.
Yeah, it's
coleslaw out of.
It depends on what the coleslaw is, right? If it's the coleslaw from KFC, I'm gonna give that a 0.02. If it's the homemade coleslaw with the vinaigrette and the pepper, that's some good stuff, Sam. That's some good stuff. So it just depends. It just depends on what it is. Now.
Now what is Rigney talking about hot dogs for? We know he's a corn dog fan.
Yeah, he's get that man an 18-inch long corn dog, and even better though, if you're gonna give Rigney, we're just kind of going through the field here. Everything is spread out.
Yeah,
there are no
There's
battles.
no really big battles going on in the racetrack right now.
So we're just gonna go through and kind of show everybody and where they're at, the paint schemes and so forth. Give them a lap on the TV screen. But what Mike Rigney needs, along with his 18-inch long corn dog, is he needs just the smallest cup of ketchup that's available. You ever notice how that works, Sam?
Corn dog. No, not on a corn dog.
Oh no! You never know. You get like the foot-long hot dog or whatever it is, and they're like, "Hey, you got any ketchup?" And they give you like the really small paper cup full of ketchup
Right.
for the foot-long hot dog. It's ridiculous. Favorite fast food, Lauren wants to know. Sam, I'll let you go because there are two places. There are two places that I'm allowed to go, and one that is my jam.
I'm probably not the guy to ask because as I've matured in my years and I watch more of what I eat, fast food is not as prevalent on my list as it used to be.
Oh, I don't
Usually a fast food stop for me is to go by Chick-fil-A and get grilled nuggets and a kale crunch side. That's usually my favorite thing to get now. I really have to watch. I'm really watching what I'm eating now. The more mature I get, I want to make sure that I stay healthy, and so I don't get as much fast food. If I make hamburgers, I can make my own at home. I love to make smash burgers with prime rib burgers, and so I do a lot of cooking. I like to cook myself.
I do too. I actually do most of the cooking in my family. I like to cook. In the summer, a lot of it's on the grill, but it's still delicious. I'm gonna have to buck your Chick-fil-A fest here. It being a Chick-fil-A fest, I'm gonna go a different way. I'm gonna go Culver's.
Yeah, we have a Culver's here near where we're at. Oh, wow, Logan Edwards really loose on turn 2.
Absolutely, and we have gone through now. I've shown everybody.
I think James Hodgson's actually closing in on him, and so now he's picking up a little bit of the pace.
Yeah, we've gone through now everybody that's still out there. Jalen Story is 2 more laps away from passing Matt Sizzler, and then Jalen also, if something happens to Owen Simkovich or Matt Wagner in this one, there's still a couple more spots available. So Jalen Story can still continue. He can continue to make up time here. We'll get back in and check on the old narc brain. That would be Logan Edwards. And you're
right.
You
know how I feel about drivers that are willing to stick it out. Even if you're multiple laps down, I really have a lot of respect for guys that are willing to stick it out and finish the race if it's within reason. But I just have a lot of respect. It just says a lot about the character of a person when they realize that they really are not. They're not really going to be vying for a win or a top 10, but they want to get the laps in. They want to make sure that they get the exposure.
Well, you're learning.
Broadcast, and you are learning the entire time. You want to get better. And so Jalen Story, Matt Wagner, Owen Simkovich, these drivers that are multiple laps down, just really kudos to them for staying into this race and running laps. I do have a lot of respect for drivers that do that.
100%, Sam, 100%. Watching the old narc brain, Logan Edwards. We've got a battle between guess who? Kendall Paul and Jim Duda continue to be. Ooh, the 85 is going to run in and hit the back. Owen Simkovich gets in the back of Kendall Paul. Now, Simkovich is 25 laps down, and I don't know that Kendall Paul probably appreciated that. Simkovich is on fresh tires, ran right up into the back of Kendall Paul and gave him a bit of a shove, Sam.
He's so fast. Those new tires, man, just make you feel like Superman. And sometimes you lose a little concentration on closing speed, and you would have a tendency to catch the truck with older tires a lot quicker than you anticipated. So that could have very well been what we saw there with Owen Simkovich.
So now we've got the crew in the chat congratulating Liam Anderson on being 100 laps down. It's got to be his sisters that are doing this to him, either his sisters or his mom or something like that.
Condolences.
Yeah, it's
that's like I'm happy that you're. I'm sorry. I'm happy and sorry.
Liam wants to know. So Big Red is the official gum of the P1 Broadcasting Network.
I didn't know that there was an official.
There is an official chewing gum. It's Big Red.
I had no idea. That we're getting way off.
Well, it's like the man said, if you don't like Big Red.
This is our first race back with the trucks. This is just so funny.
It is. It is. So Big Red. I like Juicy Fruit, but it's Big Red is where it's at. Actually, Winter Fresh was what I chewed when I chewed gum. I don't eat a lot of candy, Sam. I'm not a candy guy.
Ah, well, that was probably my biggest downfall in my healthy eating crisis. Is I love dark chocolate. But
You know what and I don't eat a lot of chocolate. Occasionally I'll have a bag of Skittles watching Kendall Paul and Jim Duda, and it's not. There's a reason we're watching this battle. This is basically the closest battle on the racetrack, other than Ryan O'Donoghue
Hodgson and Sweeting.
Yeah, Hodgson and Sweeting, and then you've got
Ryan close.
Well, Ryan O'Donoghue's caught Jim Duda, or Jared Duda, excuse me. But we're gonna go down to so Catherine Beverly wants to know my favorite drink. And Sam, that's a great question. It's also one that's very delicate to answer, isn't it? As Chad Dulabon continues to lead, I'll keep it.
Well, Mark, I've never known you to really be delicate when it comes to answering questions.
What's my favorite drink? What's the line from Leaving Las Vegas? If I could, about bourbon, it's bourbon, and I don't know that I'm not Craig Forsyth. I'm not particular about my bourbon. Just in a glass with one ice cube will work. Watching Ryan O'Donoghue chase down Jared Duda as we run here, everything is pretty spread out. You've got O'Donoghue on Duda. That's for second and third. You've got Chuck Sweeting looking at James Hodgson. That's fifth and sixth. And about 3 seconds behind them, you've got Jim Duda looking on Kendall Paul. All of those battles look very similar, Sam, and they're all very similarly spread out. Probably the hottest one would be Kendall Paul and Jim Duda. They've swapped that seventh spot at least a half a dozen times as we get close to the end of the stage.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There are some tandem battles that are going on, and what happens is that as these tires equalize over the run, it may, and these drivers that are running in the top 8 or so, they are running very similar lines. So you really have to change your line to be able to make a pass, and it's difficult to do that after you've been running the same line.
Well, and not only that, Sam, but if you're going to change your line to go by somebody, you're going to have to force it almost.
Yeah, you're going to have to push the truck in order to get a run off. That's usually the only way that you can make passes here at IRP, is just simply to get a better bite coming off the corner than trying to dive bomb the truck into the corner.
And no, I do not put Sprite in my bourbon, Liam. I know you're not old enough to drink bourbon yet, but someday you'll understand. Someday you'll understand that. The 88 of James Hodgson is writing his doctoral thesis in front of Chuck Sweeting. Hodgson has run a different line every lap for the last 10 laps. Sweeting's finally going to get to the outside, and we may have a pass for position here, Sam.
Well, it's just been a matter of time between these two. Both of these drivers are very cerebral in how they approach their races. They think it through. They're clean drivers. They're not ones to be overly aggressive, and so they'll probably really race this out cleanly. There's a big dive to the bottom by Hodgson here, and Sweeting's trying to get that big run off the top. This is a generous thing that Hodgson's really doing, but some drivers are very good on the bottom here at IRP. And now the pits have been closed. There'll be no one taking advantage of pitting a little early.
Well, you couldn't take advantage of that. You'd be 3 laps down.
Yeah.
They'd be 3 laps down. Sweeting is going to use that truck up as much as he can because it's so hard to pass.
And if you notice, Hodgson is taking those left side tires, and he's just getting them down onto the apron where the asphalt is actually counter banked there, and so it actually helps the truck turn some and gives you opportunity to get a little bit more bite off.
It'll de-wedge it for sure. Sweeting is going to make the move, and that's big for 2 reasons. One, it puts him into 5th, and he'll get the stage points and all of that. But the bigger point of that, Sam, is that all things being equal, Chuck Sweeting will get to restart on the inside line, and that
Yes.
can be a big deal here on this final restart. We are under caution for the end of the second stage, 122 of 200 laps complete. We haven't talked about him all that much, but that's because he's been so dominant. Chad Dulabon in the Jack Daniels number 98 has led, I believe he's led every lap, hasn't he, Sam?
I think he's led every lap tonight, yeah.
Yeah, he's led just about every lap, if not every lap. He's going to bring his truck into the pit lane. Jared Duda, Ryan O'Donohue, Logan Edwards, Chuck Sweeting, your top 5. Billy Elwell will get one of his 2 laps back. We're going to get to the exit of pit lane, and that's probably the best shot that we have. It's probably the best shot we got right there. That's where they come off a pit road. There are warm-up lanes here at IRP, and they are very treacherous and very slick. More so on pit entrance than pit exit. It's a weird pit entry here. We haven't had a chance to talk about it, Sam, but this is probably a good shot to do it now since we're under caution, don't you think?
I'm sorry, I missed that part. I was listening to him race chat that time. I was noticing that Doodlebon actually slowed down not to lap Matt Wagner and Jacob Wilson there at the end of the run, and so there was some discussion going on in the server about how the drivers appreciated that show of respect by Doodlebon, and how much they appreciated him not just being cantankerous and just seeing if he could lap trucks again and again and again. So
there you go.
So I missed your question.
No, it wasn't a question. I was just saying the pit entry here is kind of weird. You just saw it off to your left. Pit road we're right on top of Chad Dulabon.
Yeah, the runoff coming out is not near as long as what it is when you're coming in, because you get into when you're coming off pit road, you get onto that apron area, and it's very easy to get the right side tires up above the yellow line or miss the blue cone, because if you're trying to get some speed, the truck wants to push a lot as you're trying to get speed coming off the corner. Whereas when you're coming on entry, you're utilizing a whole lane by yourself on the infield, and it is a little bit more forgiving, so to speak.
It is, but it's an odd, and there the safety truck goes down it, and you can kind of see how much of a sharp.
Yeah, the angle is definitely different.
Yeah,
the arc is a little different.
But here
by Dulabon here, and now Ryan O'Donohue is actually going to fall into second place. This is the first time that he's actually been able to fall right in behind Chad Dulabon. Jared Duda has held on to that space for the majority of the race, but now Ryan O'Donohue has the benefit.
There you go. We are back under green flag.
These trucks have actually been able to keep pace.
Whoa! Keith Graham hard in the inside wall. Keith Graham is wrecked on the front straightaway. No caution.
No caution.
Yeah,
he taps out and goes straight to the pit lane.
Yeah, he did. And here's what happened to Keith Graham. Billy Elwell gets a little bit sideways coming off of turn number 4. They door slam each other. Keith Graham hard into the inside wall. Because that's not part of the racing surface, it does not throw the caution. Keith Graham is able to punch out and get back to pit lane. Barry Seaman has a black flag, and so he has been brought to the pit lane. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Donohue up front may have Sam the best chance at he may have the best chance that he's had in a long time on Chad Dulabon. Nobody has been this close for this long, Sam.
No, I won't disagree. Like I said just a few moments ago, Jared Duda and Ryan O'Donohue, for the first 20, 30 laps, they stay within a second of Chad Dulabon, but again, they just incrementally begin to fall back. But now, I do believe that in some instances, Ryan O'Donohue was saving tire for the long run. I think that these drivers can make it to the end of the race as far as tire, as far as fuel and tires. It's just a matter of who can save the most tire for the end of the run.
Yeah, and that's all this is about right now. It's about saving tires, resource management. Liam Anderson is lobbying for hose water. I don't know that isn't drinking out of the gardening hose not considered healthy anymore, Sam.
I grew up again being a Southern boy. We didn't have garden hoses; we had hose pipes, and so we we lived drinking out of hose pipes.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have been hydrated at all as a kid if I didn't drink out of the garden hose. Now that's an Indiana staple right there on a hot summer. Not only that, but you recall, I can remember the football team during two-a-days. They would take the garden hose, and this is really gonna get some of it. We're watching the battle for the lead. This is really gonna get some of the people who are a little bit older going. They would take the garden hose and hook it up to a pipe that had holes drilled in it, and the pipe,
PVC.
No, well, that was luxury, Sam. Ours was metal, and it was half rusted, and they'd hook this thing up. It was either a metal pipe. We had one that was metal. I'm pretty sure one of them was lead, and they'd hook that sucker up, and the water would shoot out of it, and that's how you got to drink during two-a-days. So if you didn't die of heat stroke, you got to drink out of either a rusted or a lead pipe fed by a garden hose. We're lucky we're alive,
Right.
probably, Sam. I'm pretty sure that's.
Long-term effects. There's still time for the long-term effects.
I'm pretty sure that drinking out of the out of the lead pipe fed by a garden hose is what made me mean. Anyway,
God, is that what it was?
it's probably so. That's what I'm going to blame anyway. Chad Dulabon is your leader from Ryan O'Donohue. Jared Duda is a distant third, and these two are matching each other lap over
They
lap
really
over
are.
lap.
I
Sam.
really think Ryan is trying to keep pace with Chad here, just to see where the pace is going to lead him at the latter part of this run. Because he is absolutely not letting Dulabon pull away from him. He's this far into a green flag start. This is as close as anyone has been able to stay with Chad Dulabon. Now John Hutchins is checked out of the event.
Yes, he has, and that's another. And we're gonna get from the blimp and just kind of watch the action so
Now
that the fans get a
Jalen
wonder.
Story could continue to make his way up through this field
Yes, he can.
if those drivers, if these drivers continue to punch out and call it a night. If Jalen Story continues to keep himself clean and make laps out there, he can very well just make up another couple of spots.
Well, I mean, that's Barry Seaman, Keith Graham, Matt Wagner, Owen Simkovich, and Jalen Story still circulating. They all stand a chance at passing John Hutchins. Matty Wagner, who was involved in that, Matty Wagner and Jalen Story involved in that early incident. They could
The very first caution.
Yeah,
Right.
very first caution. They could conceivably walk out of here with a top 15 finish. That is not out of the question here, and that would be a huge thing as we're watching from the P1 airship, the battle for the lead. That is Ryan O'Donohue and Chad Dulabon as they fight it out here for the lead. Do want to point out that there is a battle, Sam. There is a battle, and we're going to show it. Barry Seaman and Keith Graham are right together on the racetrack. They are both 10 laps down, and they are having it out for 14th spot like it's the lead of this baby. And so kudos to those guys.
If you're not gonna be running up front or for the win, you find someone in the race that you can race with. I'm a big advocate for that. I mean, look for that next position, and if you can make that position up, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Just make something fulfilling in the race for yourself, other than just finishing it. If there's a position that's right in front of you and it's on your lap, enjoy it. Make the most of that opportunity.
Lauren Elwell says she remembers in high school they had the rusty water fountains where you press the thing too hard, it hit the kid next to you. She had water fountains. Water fountains. My goodness gracious. I'm pretty sure that my football coach in high school and my baseball coach and my basketball coach all were of the opinion that water made you weak, and they didn't want anybody weak on their field of play. And so That was the reason for the water out of the lead pipe. But yeah, you did with what you did with what you were dealt. And this probably is the best battle on the racetrack, Sam, is Barry Seaman and Keith Graham. And we're going to watch it a while. Barry Seaman almost runs in the back of Keith Graham. Keith Graham is battling the number 44 of Jalen Story. Story 29 laps down. He's continuing to circulate, and he's racing Keith Graham hard here.
Yeah, well, not only that, but Keith Graham is probably looking at his relative and sees that that 55 truck is white on his relative list, and he knows that is for a position, and he wants to race for it just as much as Barry Seaman wants to race for it.
Yeah, he does. Barry Seaman all the way.
Jalen Story doesn't want to go so slow that it just gets him another lap down. He's just trying to keep his own pace here.
Well, and he's, his deal is keep the pace, keep circulating, don't hit anything, right? You wonder how much patience Seaman is going to have. I believe I saw one tap, and it's what is it? One tap, I'm here. So you got to help me out here, Sam. One tap, I'm here. Two taps is
two means I won't buy. Three means I'm coming through.
And what's four? You're backwards.
Well, if it gets to 4, then there's certainly a problem with the 3-tap policy.
Mike Rigney says he was on the golf team in high school. They walked around with water bottles that were given to him, and that I played the wrong sports. Now, see, Mike, we played golf after baseball practice. That was the situation. We would have baseball practice in the summer in the mornings, and then we'd have the practice in the morning. And we'd be done by 1, 2 o'clock. So you had just enough time. There was a course, public course in Evansville, Indiana. It's still there, called McDonald's, and it's a full-length 9-hole course. Very walkable, very enjoyable. But we would go play 9 holes at McDonald's after practice. Most of us had golf clubs in our lockers.
So you didn't have water fountains, but you could afford golf clubs.
Nobody ever said we were smart, Sam. Nobody ever said we were smart.
I couldn't afford golf clubs when I was lucky to be able to get a baseball glove.
I'm pretty sure that most of those golf clubs were stolen from our fathers. Would be my guess. Ryan O'Donoghue. Well, do want to point out that Ryan O'Donoghue continues to be all over the back of Chad Dulabon, and they have now.
Yeah, he's actually kept pace here.
Yeah, and they've caught Barry Seaman, and so it's going to be interesting to see how lap traffic plays into this. We are down to 49 laps to go. There are no more cautions here, no more scheduled cautions here in the Hoosier. Yeah, no more scheduled cautions in the Hoosier State 200. So it's a straight up fight between Dulabon in the lead. You're looking at the back of the Jack Daniels number 98, Ryan O'Donoghue is trying to chase him down, and he's got Barry Seaman in front of him. And I think that Seaman checked up Dulabon just a little bit.
Now, I would never discredit anyone in the field and their hunger for winning a race, but I just really feel so strongly that Ryan O'Donoghue is so hungry for this first win this season. And he has put so much time and so much effort into each race that he participates in. He's always a front runner. He's got plenty of speed. He's caught some tough breaks in some races. And other races, it just seems like someone might be just a hair faster than he was at the end. But I just really believe that he's probably one of the hungriest drivers in this field tonight.
Now we have an interesting question, Sam. What's the funniest moment that you can recall in NASCAR racing? Funniest moments.
In NASCAR racing?
I'm gonna go with an IndyCar moment because I'm an Indy guy. But give me your funniest NASCAR moment.
My funniest moment was when the good old boy at Talladega stole the pace car and started making laps at Talladega in the Pontiac.
Oh
pace
yeah,
car.
Was it 1980, 86?
Yeah, it was late 80s, early 90s, but he was
it wasn't late 80s.
He was a motivated young man. stole the pace car,
Yeah.
and went out on the racetrack and started making laps in the pace car. And then they were taking safety vehicles and police cars, and they blocked off the front stretch coming out of turn 4, just to so it would become a deterrent for him. But to me, that was one of the funniest good old boy moments in NASCAR history, in my opinion. There's been some funny things, but to me, that's probably
It wasn't just that the guy did that. It was Bob Jenkins and Larry Nuber's reaction to it. Bob Jenkins, we're watching the pace car, and we've been told that it's been stolen. The officials are not in control of this thing.
Yeah.
And then Larry Nuber.
That probably had.
Well, and then Larry Nuber. It's kind of a wild crowd here at Talladega. Well, no joke, right? Stole the pace car. My favorite, my funniest moment in racing are the pranks that get played in the IndyCar garage. Somebody at one point, and we're unsure of who, although I'm sure that it will eventually be discovered. Somebody at one point filled Alexander Rossi's motorhome with those balls from a ball pit. And he came back. He came back after I think it was Road America. He came back to go to his bus and opened the door and was deluged by the balls from the ball pit. So that was good.
How about that?
Enjoy those moments. There's also Tony Kanaan mailing all of Dan Weldon's left shoes back from Japan to Indiana while they were in Japan for a car race. So Weldon didn't. He only had his right shoes available. And being in Japan, of course, we're watching Chad Dulabon puts a lap on Billy Elwell there. Worth noting, Elwell is 11th. He's 3 laps down, but he continues to circulate. He's in 11th spot on the same lap as Justin Osterman. But Osterman,
he is the lucky dog candidate again.
Yeah, he's the lucky dog candidate. Osterman is 9.9 seconds behind Elwell. So he is very secure in that spot. Ryan O'Donoghue has fallen a second back, and he's actually now.
He's starting to lose. He is starting to lose ground at Dulabon now. It's really starting to widen out, and Jared Duda's really closed the gap. I think Ryan O'Donoghue has got his answer about whether he can keep pace here, and he'll probably give way to Duda and allow him to just go ahead and take that. And there he goes.
Yeah, he let him go. Tyler Barnes is also under fire from Jacob Wilson, and that's been something that's been kind of going on for quite some time. Jacob Wilson continues to look to the inside of Tyler Barnes. We'll get in the blimp. The 85 of Ohm Simkovich is going to bring his truck into the pit lane. He's going to bring it on the grass, and let's hope he's able to control that situation. But Wilson and Barnes have been going after it. This is for ninth.
Billy Elwell hard into the wall as the second, third place trucks. Again, second, third place trucks are trying to get around him here, and Billy's trying to give him room. But that
again, he smacks it. Yeah,
eating that wall. He's trying his best to get out of their way, but not lose a lot of time.
He is. Now, Owen Simkovich was just down on the grass in the Majors Garage Machine. It's almost like he's running the apron, and he is about a second a lap slower than Jalen Story. They're only separated by 2 laps. That could get fairly interesting. Jalen Story has made it to set. Well, Story now has. No, there he is. I thought he'd given up, but he's
all the way in the grass. Simkovich is all the way in the grass.
Yeah, it's bizarre why he's running down that far. But he's like doing 28 seconds a lap, and there goes the 49 of Logan Edwards. He's running through the grass as O.M. Simkovich.
He is. It's very unusual. He's doing it again.
Yeah, it's almost like he's decided that's his line. He's 4 seconds off the pace from Jalen Story. And that's going to be a position for Story. So we're going to keep an eye, Sam. We're going to keep one eye on the 85 of Owens.
That's just bizarre.
Yeah, of Owen Simkovich. I don't want to show a lot of it just because I don't want to.
Yeah, let's.
I don't want to.
It's just very unusual behavior.
Yeah, I don't want to give it legitimacy and think that people think
Sure.
that they can do stuff like that and come on and we'll show it. The answer is
it can be very distracting to other drivers if they see cars down in the grass area, but nonetheless, we're hoping that he'll keep the nose of that truck pointed in the right direction and not cause any kind of incident.
yeah, there you go. But we don't want to show it. We are going to have a look at Jalen's story though, because if this continues with Owen Simkovich, Jalen's story is now one lap behind Owen. He may make it up to 16th place, which would be remarkable given that he spent the first 30 laps of this race really under repair, Sam.
How many laps?
The first 30. So he's only lost, by my count, he's only lost one or two
Under green flag conditions.
Under green flag, yeah. Owen has popped in the chat and he says that the grass is the only way he can turn the car. The tires are completely gone, and that's the only way he can maneuver around the Indianapolis Raceway Park is to go very slow and kind of make that cut right there. So if that's his strategy, then so be it, Sam. Jalen's story though is about ready to pass Owen Simkovich, and to do that, he would move to the same lap. There's Owen, and Jalen's Story is going to move the same lap. That's another spot. So good for Jalen's Story for continuing to persevere. We're going to check back in with James Hodgson because he is going to put a lap on Billy Elwell, and he is in hot pursuit of James Hodgson here.
Again, they're trying to navigate through lap traffic and just making sure that they keep the trucks clean. The Hodgson-Sweeting battle is still going at it here. We've seen those two trucks together for a very large amount of the event tonight. As we see also Jim Duda and Kendall Paul, those two drivers have seen each other quite a bit as well.
They have indeed, and this battle continues to rage. That's the 55 of Barry Seaman. He is 14.
Barry Seaman.
Yeah, he's caught Keith Graham one more time.
He has finally caught Keith Graham again after losing all that ground.
There you go.
Again, those two drivers are solely on a lap by themselves, and that is their race within a race.
Yeah.
I race in a league with some friends who have steadily raced each other for years and years and years. They're great friends, and they have gone by. They have kept a running total of who beat who in every race that they have raced together.
Is that right?
And over the years, they have raced over 800 races together online.
Aha.
Would you care to know what the current standings between those two drivers are as of last week? Now this is a culmination of Truck Series.
My guess is it's in the hundreds. It's in the hundreds total, right?
Absolutely. So they have a total of races, over 800 races that they have raced together. But what do you think that the standings are between them?
376 to 374.
No, actually they are tied at 400 apiece.
That's pretty awesome.
And it is a going thing every time we race in that league that those two guys, they want to finish ahead of the other. One might get 7 races ahead, and then he'll lose that advantage, and the other one will catch him. And it is. I love that they have that rivalry, and they have had it for years and years and years. And it is not passive by any stretch of the imagination. When they get in a race, they're asking, where is this person at? I need to finish ahead of him. I'm going to catch you. It is as active and as real of a rivalry as you will ever get.
I'm sure it is.
I love that. I think it's really cool.
I do want to point out, Sam, The track temp, it's getting later on in the day. The track temp has begun to drop. It's 86 degrees
Yes.
On the track, 78 in the air, and it is becoming dark. Now, why does that make a difference?
Well, it makes a difference. Go ahead.
Well, the biggest one that these guys are going to note is that there are several different scans of Indianapolis Raceway Park in iRacing, and if Kendall Paul did not select the right one, a couple of those don't have lights. So,
but if you look at the long shadows on this racetrack, you can see actually the light towers are on this particular scan.
they are. So it just may be the artwork. There have been a lot of artwork updates within iRacing, and so it's hard to tell sometimes which scan of which track you're at, because sometimes our camera angles don't exactly line up with what's out there. Do want to point out that Jalen Story is now 10 seconds behind OM Simkovich with 15 laps to go.
With 15 laps. Yeah, he's got time.
He's got time there, so that's a battle brewing. Logan Edwards has also caught Ryan O'Donoghue, and so this may be a fight that's worth watching because the old narc brain, he's got a fast hot rod, Sam.
He does, and again, he's done a fantastic job over the season saving tires, and he's not losing a lot of ground at this particular juncture to the leader, and he's caught Ryan O'Donoghue, and I do believe that Ryan wanted to keep pace and see if he could keep pace with Chad Dullemont, is why he's fallen back to where he is. But that is a coveted position that those two drivers are going to be racing for. A lot of these guys love to make sure that they get on the podium and that they get their airtime to thank their sponsors, and that's what we see between these two drivers, is that they're actually racing for that third spot.
Absolutely. So, Sam, do want to point out the debate is now about favorite color. I'm going to have to go royal blue. Royal blue. The chrome royal blue on my IndyCar, to be exact.
Oh my goodness, the battle catches Jalen Story here, and now Ryan O'Donoghue has to check up, and that will allow Logan Edwards to pull away.
Yep, and so Logan Edwards, the old narc brain, is going to move into the third spot. He's going to get past Ryan O'Donoghue.
Simkovich finally gets the meatball for the tire wear.
Not only, OM Simkovich finally has a meatball. Not only that, Justin Osterman has caught and passed Billy Elwell, so these two are going to do battle. And Jalen Story, with Simkovich on pit road, Jalen Story is going to make up a spot, move him
into 16th spot right now, right there.
Lauren, I will have to get David Dunwoody to get me the RGB color for chromed royal blue, and I'll let you know. Or you can tune in. You can tune in any Sunday night on P1. Look for the Indy Alliance number 69. That's got the chrome royal blue on the side. Usually it's running around somewhere in the back, but occasionally you'll catch a glimpse as I get lapped. Jalen Story has made up the spot. OM Simkovich with the meatball flag for tires. Chuck Sweeting.
Matty Wagner stayed out on the racetrack. Barry Seaman has stayed out. Keith Graham has stayed out.
Well, Wags is pulling into pit lane now.
Stayed out. Oh,
Wagner, Wags.
I guess he figures he can't make up or lose any more spots at
correct.
This particular juncture. So
correct. So that's the gentlemanly thing to do. If you can't make up or lose anything, pull it in, shut it off. Matt Wagner.
Don't be a factor. Yeah. Don't be an influence to the end of the race. Yeah.
Correct. Although I think he may need to make one more lap. It is theoretically possible that Jalen Story could pass him and make it into the top 15. So maybe Wags might behoove him to pull it out and go around a couple more.
I do want to just take the opportunity right now with 5-6 laps to go, that we give all due respect where it belongs tonight, and that is to Chad Dullemont. Chad Dullemont has dominated this race. He's proven time and time again in this particular series that he is one of the trucks, or the truck to beat in this series, and Chad has just methodically just brought the rest of this field to class tonight. He has been incredibly fast as well as efficient on those tires, and he's been thoughtful to lap trucks during stages. This has been a clinic tonight by Chad Dulabon, and though we have talked about many things between sandwiches, colors, drinks, and fast food, I do not want to pass up an opportunity to just give Chad Dulabon every amount of credit for the race that he's run tonight, as he's closing in with a couple of laps to go here. And so I don't want to jinx him in any stretch of the imagination, but I don't believe in those things. But Chad Dulabon's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, there you go. Chad Dulabon, we'll keep the camera on him. Although I don't know that, well, Chuck Sweeting, just as we say that, Chuck Sweeting and Ryan O'Donohue are going to go after it. O'Donohue is going to lose the 4th spot to Sweeting. James Hodgson is a second back, and so I don't think there are any other positions that are out there that are close. I'll keep my eye on the scoring tower, but all
outside
eyes,
of O'Donohue and Sweeting,
yeah, all eyes need to be on Chad Dulabon for certain.
Agreed.
Matty Wagner,
just a fantastic showing.
Yeah, Matty Wagner did come in and change tires. He's back out on the track and is still circulating, so he doesn't lose that 15th spot. Jalen Story will come home 16th. Ohm Sinkovich did persevere into 17th, and he has decided to retire the truck. He is not able to make up any further positions. We are in the final lap. Chad Dulabon is going to bring his truck off of turn number 4. He's going to be looking at Barney, and there is the checkered flag. Chad Dulabon will win here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Jared Duda is second. Logan Edwards, the old narc brain, going to bring her home third.
Well, it did not disappoint, but this is exactly the kind of races that you can expect at IRP. There'll be some mayhem at different intervals, but there is usually at this track there's a lot of green flag racing, and we've seen that. And now the only mistake that Chad Dulabon has made is he just backed the tailgate into the wall during his burnout. So kudos to Chad Dulabon on a fantastic race, and thank you for bringing us to class tonight, Chad. Fantastic.
And there's Chad Dulabon burning them down. That was definitely a master class, Sam.
It really was.
Chad
When you mention the term class of the field, that's exactly what you were looking at.
I have to say that might have been one of the best insults from a sister, or there has to be a sister. Talking to Liam Anderson in the chat, congratulating the pace car on beating her brother. Chad Dulabon is going to be your winner, Sam, from Jared Duda and Logan Edwards. Chuck Sweeting, Ryan O'Donohue round out the top 5. James Hodgson, Jim Duda, Kendall Paul, Jacob Wilson, and Tyler Barnes are going to be your top 10. In 11th, Justin Osterman, Billy Elwell is 12th, Keith Graham 13th, Barry Seaman 14th, Matt Wagner 15th. The final two finishers, Jalen Story and Ohm Simkovich 16th and 17th. 18th, John Hutchins. 19th, Matt Sizzler. 20th is Jeremy Dunwoody. Mason Muller is 21st. David Dunwoody 22nd. Liam Anderson will bring it home 23rd.
Tough night.
All right, Sam. Let's see if we can't round up a driver or two. Anybody want to talk to us about sandwiches or other things? There's Logan Edwards. Logan, you've got Murph and you've got Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I do.
You do. So the first question that is being asked tonight in the chat is, what is your favorite color?
Oh, heavens.
Purple.
Purple. Very good. What is your favorite jelly? Is it grape, strawberry, or other?
Man, I haven't had jelly in like 10 years. Probably cherry.
There you go, cherry jelly. Love it. We've had a good time in the chat and a good time calling this one. Some pretty excellent discussions with the fans. It's been an awesome night. Tell us about your night. You caught Ryan O'Donohue late to snag the bottom step of the podium. Were the tires that rough out there that it was just a matter of conserving and letting the field come back to you?
Yeah, I just think this race highlighted my strengths and weaknesses just in general. I've always just been really bad at short run. I've qualified bad. I mean, I've put it in fourth here, I shouldn't say that, but I just don't launch off very well. And if I had the launch that everyone else had, with the long run that I had at the end, I maybe could have challenged for second. But it was just waiting on the car to turn, or the truck, and not forcing
Yeah,
it.
it does feel like an eternity at this particular racetrack. For a short track, it does seem like the longest time before you can really start picking back up on the throttle.
Oh yeah.
You know, the other thing is you were one of the early adopters and very loyal to that what I call lane 2 here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. You don't want to get down on the flat per se because that'll turn you loose, but you were one of the guys that stayed down on that bottom and were very, very cautious with the tires. Great long run speed. What was did you have any other issues out there, set up anything like that, or was it just a matter of saving your stuff and waiting on them to come back to you?
Really just a matter of saving my stuff. The field was like light enough for a short track. I didn't really have much problems with lap cars because they mostly just stayed out of the way. It was really just running on my own. Got a little boring out there, but chasing O'Donohue down at the end was fun.
Yes, it
So
was.
you talked about your strengths and weaknesses tonight, Logan. Congratulations on the podium, by the way, but you're talking about strengths and weaknesses. So just to clarify, you're at a track that you didn't have to turn right at, but the fact of the matter is that your tire wear management really shines. What do you think that you can do different in the future to get the launch that you feel like you need to carry the pace and save tire?
I don't know. I think it's just a mark of just how good a driver is just how good that short run is. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think that I have the experience. I've been off of Indianapolis Raceway Park for a while. Last time I drove here was for the college series last fall.
Well, if you're off and finishing third in this manner, then we've got a lot to look forward to when you're on your A game.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do, Logan. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for putting up with the crazy questions. We had a huge group in the chat, and we discussed many and various things. And so hopefully, when you go back and watch the broadcast, you get a kick out of the interactions. We learned a lot about some of our fans and about ourselves tonight. And we also had a huge crowd that watched you run third. And it's your turn to talk to them. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, Logan.
Shout out to Luke Mansky Racing Esports. I was actually given the privilege to design our new IndyCar livery, so I hope y'all enjoy that Monday night.
Oh, nice.
And hopefully there's several of our cars out there. P1 Broadcasting, as always, putting on an amazing show, and apparently quite an entertaining one tonight. I'll have to go back and watch.
So normally, just to let you know, normally we average maybe one chat every 60 seconds. We've averaged 5 throughout the broadcast, and it's been an interesting discussion. So I have to thank everybody watching it, and that's huge for us because the more people that are chatting and engaging and so forth, the more it bumps the broadcast up in the algorithm. And so We do appreciate everybody for that. We appreciate your efforts too, Logan. It's always awesome to watch you wheel, whether it's an open wheel car or one of these stock cars. It's always a pleasure to watch you. And we will see you. You're gonna do Portland?
Of course. I've been waiting for Portland since the forecast was put
Yeah,
out
I was gonna say we might get. I'm gonna have to bring my virtual umbrella. Right, I think it's gonna get wet. But we look forward to seeing you guys on Monday night. Take care. Good luck. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
You too,
Fantastic
man.
job.
Thank you.
That is Logan Edwards. He is going to be at P3 tonight. In second, we're going to go ahead and grab Jared Duda. Jared, so I don't know. Normally I would ask, is there anything that you think could have been done with Chad Dulabon? I don't know if that's a valid question tonight, though.
Yeah, no, Chad was pretty dominant. I didn't really have much for him. I keep up, but he got out there and I would gain on me every once in a while. There was points in the race where I thought I was coming back to him, which I was, but then I'd mess up or something. He was so consistent all night. Hats off to him. He ran a great race and he was just pretty dominant. There was one little slip up on pit road. I don't know if car fell off the jack or something, but rolled in second, came off fourth, and lost about a second and a half because of that. That could have switched things up a little bit. Maybe I could have stayed with him and done a little something about it. But yeah, he was dominant. It was hard to do anything with him being so consistent and so fast.
Well, Jared, it's a great showing again. Of course, you've got a win under your belt here in the Archway Industrial Series in the AMA, and again, you're flexing your muscle for Ford Performance and your family. I'm a little curious about what kind of perspective do you have looking forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I don't think I'm eligible for the playoffs, so we're just going to come out here and race when we can and try to put the 52 Ford Performance truck on the podium and win races, and not try to mess up anyone's points race, but still try to go for some wins.
Well, wins speak volumes, and you've started a great chapter in this season already. So good job tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to shout out the guys at AMA for putting on a good league. I was not expecting a race IRP to be this clean. That was awesome. It was fun to basically have. I think we had 2 yellows, one right at the start, one right after the first stage, so nothing really broke up any long green flag runs.
Yeah, outside of the stage cautions, I think there were only two cautions outside of that, so it was a good race.
Yeah, no, so appreciate all the competitors and then the guys at Archway Industrial as well for sponsoring the series. That's always good to have them on board. Shout out to Ford Performance, putting together a great truck. Due to racing, always unloaded pretty well. We were second in practice, second in qualifying, second in the race. So we just need to bring a little bit. Yeah, we just need to bring a little bit more next week. And then shout out to my mom, my girlfriend, Chris and Andrea. Happy birthday, Andrea. Hopefully you're watching. Didn't get a win, but second place we'll have to do for today.
There you go. And most importantly, you beat Dad, right? So you get the dinner table bragging rights this evening, Jared. And so thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for the interview. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. And we will see you at the next one.
Yeah, thanks for putting on a great broadcast. Can't wait to watch it back.
Yes, sir.
Well done, Jared.
Yes, sir. That is Jared Duda. He is the second place runner tonight. And for the man who absolutely dominated this evening, it is for the man that absolutely dominated this evening, sat on the pole, led every lap, won the race, Chad Dulabon. It's not very often that you get the Grand Slam. We saw you do it here tonight. You even set the fastest lap of the race. What made you so dominant at IRP, and how do you plan on carrying this forward?
Yeah, I don't. It's just one of those nights. Maybe we need to take another month off. Other than that, it's just one of those nights. Everything fell my way. I thought, I was running pretty hard during the race. I thought the tires held in there. Just one of those nights where everything went right.
Well, Chad, once again, you've proved that you're the class of the field. Just while you were closing, closing the door on this event tonight and the closing laps, I wanted to give you the all due respect for the showing that you have. But I just the whole time that I'm talking about that, I'm thinking to myself, where do you have your college degree at?
Yeah, it needs to be on the racetrack, right?
Professorial doesn't
Because you
begin to cover it. Yeah.
You definitely took us to class tonight, took the field to class, and so it's just a stellar showing. What do you feel is you have proved at several races this year that your long run speed is very consistent. If you could, I'm not trying to get you to give away trade secrets, but it always is an interesting part of this hobby that we do. Is what could you probably nonchalantly attribute that particular factor to that you are able to spare the truck and get such great speed over a long distance?
Yeah, I think, man, it's just a lot of seat time and consistency. I like these trucks. They drive great. Um, like I said, it's just being consistent, a lot of seat time, manage your tires, try a couple different lines and see how the tires hold up, and kind of go from there.
Well, there's no question it's working for you, man. Great job. I love this racetrack. I enjoy racing at this racetrack, and it was just really enjoyable to see you. Just as Mark was alluding to, you just took it all tonight, and it was enjoyable to watch.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it didn't look. It might not have been as dramatic of a finish tonight, but from my seat, it was pretty nice to pretty nice to dominate like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, right? So you want to enjoy it.
No, it don't.
You want to enjoy it while you can. And speaking of enjoying it, any friends, family, sponsors you'd like to shout out to, my man? It is the floor is yours for as long as you like. You bring home the trophy. That's one of the spoils, my man. Get to it.
That's right. Yeah, thank you. I just want to thank everybody watching the broadcast tonight, and as usual, Sam and Mark, y'all do a great job.
Thank you so much, Chad, and thank you so much for being with us. Get out of here. Go celebrate, my friend. You've earned it.
All right, catch y'all next week.
Well done, Chad.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
That is Chad Dulabon. He is tonight's winner on the event. Sam, I tell you what, we had a for a, and I can't talk, but for a,
I think we found if this racing thing doesn't work, we'll just start a podcast.
and that's what it's like sometimes, and so I absolutely wanted to thank everybody that was in the chat this evening. Wanted to give my kudos and let everybody know that made it so much fun for me to do the race, for me to call the race. It was fun interacting with you, Sam, and talking about some different things. Sometimes these races, they can get spread out. They can get into lulls, and so rather than try to belabor the point and get into the minutia, we can talk about other stuff. And so thank you so much to everybody who participated in the wonderful discussion. Speaking of wonderful, Sam, I have news. Breaking news from the stewards. Chuck Sweeting and Ryan O'Donoghue are tied for the regular season championship points lead after tonight. So that tells you a little bit about parity in this series. They've got 2 races left. Next week they'll be at Watkins Glen International for the Admin Box 175, and then the Cartoon Clash at presented by Black Magic Studios. That'll be August 15th at Richmond, and then we'll set the playoffs. That'll start on August 29th at Darlington. Sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it, Sam?
It sure does.
I like me some cartoon characters racing around Richmond. That's a nice nod back to was it Team Chevy late 90s? They had the Monte Carlos with the cartoon characters.
What, like the one that Dale Jr. raced at Richmond?
Yeah, they had the Looney Tunes on them.
That was the Marvin Marston car, yeah.
And Marvin the Martian car. Dale Sr. at one point had a Tasmanian Devil car. I think they
yeah.
I think they put Bugs Bunny on Jeff Gordon. The cartoon characters definitely fit the drivers' personalities for sure. Anyway,
Yeah, it did.
thank you so much to everybody who's watching. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button on the video so that you can be notified of all future P1 Broadcasting iRacing action. On Monday night, as Logan Edwards alluded to, the IndyCar Series Monday night top split. We're going to Portland, and Sam, there is rain in the forecast. That's going to be an absolute delight. Immediately following that, the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series is going to happen 9:35. Series season finale from Pocono, 9:35. The IndyCar Oval Tuesday top split presented by Techtopia is going to be from Pocono on Tuesday. So if you didn't get enough Pocono late night Monday, come back Tuesday for more Pocono. No Horizon race this Wednesday. Sam, you and I are going to be back next week for AMA Watkins Glen, Thursday and Friday, 8:20 start, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. And then next Saturday is another big one. It is the IndyCar iRacing Series presented by 40 Racewear. That's 2 o'clock on Saturday, live. Gary Godso on the call. We do want to thank everybody who watched along with us. This was definitely one of the more fun broadcasts I've been involved in. Sam, thank you so much for playing along, brother. But we'd also be remiss if we didn't thank the other people, the real people who made it possible.
Oh yeah, what would it be without those that participated with us? So we're thankful for the viewing audience for sure.
Yes, we are. We're also thankful for all the people who do the hard jobs in the middle of the night so that we can sleep soundly in our racks. The police, the firemen, the military, the nurses in the emergency room that fix you when you do something crazy in the middle of the night. All of those people that make it possible. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Sam, you know what I'm going to do?
Mark? Yeah, I think you're going to tell me you've got to go to bed.
No, it's a Friday night. I'm gonna go make an American cheese roast beef.
A peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Is that a peanut jelly butter sandwich, Sam? No, I'm gonna have a P1 Club. Sam is gonna go mix his peanut butter and his jelly together. We are gonna get ourselves well fed, and we will see you next week.
Next week.